Hello Galactic family. Limits are not about other people. They are about you. They create a framework and order so that your energy levels and emotions are protected. Limits are put in place so you do not have to compromise, and you do not need to find yourself in situations where you do not want to be. When you establish healthy boundaries with the people in your life, it makes it much easier for you to stay in your truth, and it also teaches other people how to treat you. When you do not put limits, people probably abuse you and treat you like a doormat. This results in you feeling drained and taken advantage of, and can also lead to social anxieties. Creating healthy boundaries is important in all areas of your life, at work, with your friends, with your family, with your children, and with your partner. Boundaries are boundaries that you impose, and there are consequences if they are violated. These consequences may vary depending on which threshold has been exceeded, but most of the time, when you set firm limits in your life, most people will respect you. If you want to create healthy boundaries in your life, here's how to get started. Step 1. Go to the points of the problems. Think of areas of your life where you are feeling tapped or drained. Think about where you are committing too much, or where you are constantly feeling disappointed or dissatisfied. Walk through your family life, relationships, professional life, and so forth, and write down some of your major problem points. Step 2. Create the limit. Go through these points one by one and see what you can do to create more order and structure for yourself. What can you do to protect yourself and your energy in these situations? Here are some examples of limits you can put in place to help you get started. Energy limits. Putting an energy shield around you, visualizing your aura, or using a protective crystal are great ways to set limits that protect your energy from negativity and other people's emotions. For energy limits to be effective, they need to be practiced every day, or several times a day. Say no when you are safe/firm with your own limits. It is easier to say no to people when they ask you to do something that exceeds one of their limits. Work-life limits. Do not mix your work life and your personal life is a healthy boundary to create. For example, if friends call you at work and it makes you uncomfortable, say that you will talk to them after work. Limits with children. Creating boundaries with children is also important and allows you to also create some time for yourself. A simple limit, such as telling your kids not to interrupt you when you're on the phone, or to knock before you enter, are small ways to set healthy boundaries and not feel that your kids are running your life. Relationship boundaries. Creating boundaries in your relationships is critical. Boundaries can include things like monogamy, or simply that you need time with your friends every Friday night. Putting limits on your relationships is also a great way to make sure you do not get lost or feel overwhelmed by the other person. Step 3. Move on with the consequences. The hardest part of creating boundaries is tracking the consequences. If people in your life continue to violate your boundaries or disrespect them, you may need to remove them from your life or establish the appropriate consequences. These consequences, however, can often be expressed only through their actions. For example, if you clearly tell your partner that you do not want to attend an event and he puts your name on the guest list anyway, you can stay true to your border simply by ignoring. If your boss keeps pushing or asking you personal things, you can take that to HR or higher levels of management. The consequence will, of course, depend on what happened, but acting on it is a great way to assert its limits. Step 4. Remain flexible. While having firm boundaries is important, it is also important to remain flexible and open to new ideas and new solutions. Creating too many boundaries in your life can lead you to feel boxed or stagnant, so try to have some fluidity and breathing space. You will be the best judge for limits. You may even meet with certain people that you need to impose more limits than with others. As you get better at setting boundaries in your life, you will discover what is right for you. Ultimately, creating healthy boundaries in your life is learning to love yourself. When you truly love and respect yourself, the boundaries you need to create arise naturally, and it becomes almost impossible to compromise yourself and your energy,